Kathy Coleman of Land of the Lost fondly remembers being a child star. She doesn't have any problems with being raised by her co-stars. They all became a true family with almost no behind-the-scenes drama to speak of. That made it a bit surprising when she all but disappeared from the film and TV scene when the show ended. What could have made her give up the limelight? Keep watching to learn why Kathy disappeared from Hollywood 50 years ago. Before becoming Holly, Kathleen Coleman was born February 18, 1962. She got into acting early with the encouragement of her mother. She appeared in several commercials and recalls,
"My very first commercial that I ever did for a place called Shakey's Pizza, and I played Goldilocks in it. And that too is also, if you type in, after we're finished this interview, if you type in Kathy Coleman, Kathy Coleman, Shakey's Pizza commercial, it'll pop up. And that's, I think I'm 5 in that commercial."
That is really cool.
It's cool that I can still find those things.
Yeah, it's amazing what people dig up on the internet.
She also toured as a singer with the Mike Curb congregation. It took an image makeover, ditching the Shirley Temple curls for a more relatable look to land her most memorable role. Becoming Holly. Kathleen was cast to play Holly in Land of the Lost in 1974. She was the younger of the 2 siblings who were trapped with their father in a strange land. They faced off against lizard men, dinosaurs, and other strange threats. Holly became a fan favorite as she faced them without backing down. Kathleen's co-stars included Wesley Eure, Spencer Milligan, and Phillip Paley. They were a close cast that ended up feeling like a true family. Kathleen said, quote, "It's not very common in this industry to have such a closeness as we do. I live right down from my TV brother. We travel together all the time. We really are like brother and sister. My TV father was like a real father. I grew up in a single-family home, so I wasn't raised with a father in the house. And yet he stepped into that role, not only for the show, but in real life as well. We're extremely close and love each other to death." Leaving Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost ran from 1974 to 76. When asked why it ended, Kathy said there wasn't a single reason. In her opinion, quote, "There was a limited amount of funds to produce this show, one that had a lot of special effects. I was also hired as a young girl. I was already starting to bypass Wesley Eure in height. The show ended, but the memories remain." Land of the Lost was Kathy's only major television role, except for one episode of Adam 12 in 1975. Disappearing from Hollywood. Kathy got married early in 1980 at age 19. She moved with her husband to Fallon, Nevada. They worked on her father-in-law's dairy farm. It was a messy job, and they started at the bottom. Kathleen said, quote, "My father-in-law said you can never ask anybody to do something you don't know how to do or haven't done yourself," she said. "So I did everything. I fed the cows. I milked them. I worked the hay, the grains. I worked the front loaders, all kinds of stuff. I really had to learn everything. There are 150 steps to cleaning the milk barn after every milking session, and all 150 steps had to be done just right. It wasn't all grueling work. There were pleasant surprises and times with the local town. It was as if she'd found a new family after losing her TV one. As she said, quote, "We had baby calves all over the place. We also used to have nice parties. It was a small town, so we knew everybody. We put everybody to work in the town. I was only 18. I was raised in Los Angeles and put on a farm in Nevada at 18. It was a culture shock, but my mother taught me something I think has been a valuable lesson in surviving childhood stardom. Stay true to your word." The couple had 2 sons before they divorced in 1987. She had to overcome 2 abusive marriages to achieve her current stable and happy life. What Kathy does now. Kathy currently lives in Palm Springs. Her life may not be as glamorous as it used to be, but she doesn't consider it quiet. She makes frequent appearances at conventions. Wesley admits,
"But one of the things I always love is when we're sitting at the autograph tables at conventions and people walk up to our table and you can see them dissolve back into 8-year-old girls and boys."
Kathy believes she has a great life now, saying, quote, "I have great friends. I'm surrounded by a lot of loving people and good energy. I have great kids whom I adore. Life is good, it truly is. I made it that way. I did the homework. I did the legwork." Kathleen remembers her time on Land of the Lost fondly, but hasn't forgotten the difficult moments. She said, quote, "It was very hard work, but it was also very rewarding. It's funny, I watched Yellowstone recently, the whole series. I lived that life. I lived that exact life." She's also written several books about her life and her time on the show. The first was Lost Girl, The Truth and Nothing But the Truth, Kathleen. It was published in 2015. She wrote Run, Holly, Run in 2017, which was focused more exclusively on her time on Land of the Lost. Could Kathy return to the spotlight? Kathy contributed interviews and commentaries for the 2004 DVD collection. Kathleen and Wesley Eure were set to return for a film with the same name parodying the series in 2009. Her cameo was cut, and she feels it missed the mark. She feels the series is ripe for another reboot, but that would be after Kathy had already spent a long time away from Hollywood. It would also have to go by the rest of the cast. What are the rest of the cast up to? Holly's wish for a reboot does depend on the other cast members. They're a close-knit group, and they wouldn't want to start a project unless everyone was on board. Spencer Milligan. Spencer played Rick Marshall. The show never recovered after he left after season 2. Spencer went on to several other major roles. He appeared in Quincy M.E., Gunsmoke, The Bionic Woman, Alice, and General Hospital. He continued to have a thriving acting career until the 80s. Spencer Milligan died at age 86 on April 18, 2024. Ron Harper. Ron replaced Spencer. He took over the role of Jack Marshall in season 3. He became a prolific actor in his own right outside of the show. He appeared in a TV version of Planet of the Apes, starred in a soap opera called Generations, and appeared in 2001's Pearl Harbor. He died March 21, 2024. Wesley Eure. Wesley had wanted to be an actor ever since he could remember. His first major role came when he was a teen and cast as the neighbor on The Partridge Family. He then got to appear as Will Marshall in Land of the Lost. He was cast on the soap opera Days of Our Lives at the same time. Wesley continued to find roles after that. He hosted the Nickelodeon game show Finders Keepers. He also co-created the popular PBS cartoon Dragon Tales. Wesley proved multi-talented. He's dipped his toes into music and writing. He's still acted in stage shows such as Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. He's also an adept businessman, founding the company Games at Sea to direct onboard entertainment on cruise ships. Phillip Paley. Phillip brought the creature Shaka to life in Land of the Lost. He was even younger than Kathleen at the time, at only 10 years old when the show began. That sudden child stardom made him a hit on talk shows. He showed off his karate black belt skills on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Phillip continued to act as he got older. He appeared in an episode of Airwolf and in the movie Beach Balls. He eventually followed Kathleen in choosing to retire from acting. They both love to meet fans and attend conventions. One unique passion he has that fans may not know about is raising butterflies. Now it's time to hear from you. Would you watch a Land of the Lost reboot? Let us know in the comment section below.